there are people that are walking away from their pre-construction properties, pre-construction projects. So for first-time home buyers and investors, there might be opportunity for you to be able to analyze a lot of deals to be able to figure out if this is something that can work for you. Also, because of that, there's a lot of creative financing opportunities in the markets right now. For investors that want to invest, you might be able to find out an opportunity to be able to help yourself to get into a home. One of my friends yesterday was talking to me about the rent to own that she is doing. So she's going to take 2 years before she closes the property, right? So, and by 2 years, hopefully the property has appreciated. This is actually a business, like a business and a property. So she's not owning the property until 2 years later, right? So she would have made money from the business and then do that. So those are information that we'll be sharing specifics in our community. What else? Opportunities also. Some people put some money down on pre-construction projects and they are saying, you know what, I'm going to lose this money anyway. I have no power to be able to keep all the properties that I have, but I don't mind somebody else pay me my deposits later in future. So that's an example of creative financing. So there are opportunities like that in the market. So that's for first-time home buyers. For people that are closing their pre-construction projects, there's been a lot of rumor that next year, you know, interest rates will come down and prices, once they start coming down, prices will start to increase and there will be more enthusiastic buyers and sellers in the market. So be greedy, analyze deals as much as possible. I teach you how to analyze deals in the community, but analyze deals as much as possible so you can figure out what is going to work for you. In that case, if you are closing a property, continue to check your interest rates and see if you already have an interest rate that is secured or a mortgage that is secured. You might want to check your interest rates to make sure that you're still getting the best rates. And I was saying that an example is in the office I was talking to Brittany, my girl, and she was saying how she was able to get the best interest rates by just watching the markets. And even different hours, different days, when the market kind of goes down, they might offer you slightly different rates, which might be beneficial. So that's something that you might want to do to figure out what is your best interest rate. Because let me tell you, this season, we take all we can get, right? Okay, so that's that. Check your interest rates and make sure that you're, up to date about those information. One of the things, inflation rates right now is about 3.4%, and one of the major things that is driving inflation rates up is still shelter. Shelter remains one of our number one enemy or problem in Canada right now. It's actually not a problem, it's a crisis, period, because people are dying on the streets, literally. So I'm using this to also say to immigrants that are coming in, make sure you prepare yourself, make sure you have all the information that you need to be able to make your decisions. Make sure you reach out to your loved ones, your backup plans, and make sure that your shelter, of course, is settled, because Canada is very cold and you can't sleep outside. So let's talk about that. So shelter remains one of the major problems why we have inflation rates up. And this crisis, because of this crisis, the government is also giving a lot of incentives to be able to encourage land developers, homeowners, landlords to be able to solve these housing problems. So I do think, even in career-wise, if this is a good time to be able to jump on those opportunities and solve those problems, and you'll be rewarded handsomely. There's a lot of programs out there. There's a lot of incentives out there that helps with that as well. So you might want to keep that in mind. And for land developers that wants to go into land development and they just never had the opportunity to be able to do that, I'm also saying I am seeing some fantastic, insanely good deals on the markets right now, because a lot of people were holding on to those properties, and right now they can no longer hold on to it, so they're selling it for really, really good prices. I was talking about the one that was $7 million, and now it's offered for $2.2 million on the market, and this is something you can build townhomes, hotels and different, banquet halls on the land. It's gonna be like a 8-year project. So that's an example of opportunities that are there right now. Um, so this is time for you to do that. Somebody asked me, how much do I need to be able to be a land developer? You need to have experience. That's number one that I would tell you. You need to have experience. I do think if you don't have any construction experience, even if you do have, you should have some real estate experience, because you are operating a business, not just investing money. You have to understand the zoning laws, the rules, some of the things that might happen, to be able to plan ahead and manage your risks properly. But I do think you need about $1 million to be able to even think about whether or not you're going to invest in land development. And yes, I do have people that did land development, and they do not have a lot of money, little to no money, but also they were paying a lot of interest. It just depends on how you analyze the numbers and make sure it's right and know what you're doing. Because if you take investors' money, you raise the capital, and you're not successful, then that's gonna be a big blow. So that's that. So, but that's a good thing that you can do right now. Okay, for people that are moving, upsizing, you're selling your smaller property and you're upsizing to a bigger property. For you guys, I do believe there's an opportunity for you right now as well, because you are able to pot your mortgages. So what does that mean? When you pot your mortgage, you have a good rate right now. You sell your property for the market value, which might be lesser than what it was at the peak of the market, but also you're buying your bigger property, which is even lesser, because the bigger properties went down more than the smaller properties, if that makes sense. So you're selling your property for slightly less, but you're buying a property for even lesser than what you would have paid for it in the peak of the market. So that's one advantage. Number two advantage is you're able to pot your mortgage, your interest rates, and use that for today's property that you're buying, and that's just a win-win on both fronts. So I think there's opportunity for that, because if the market does go up next year like they're suggesting, we do not know when it's going to happen. I do not know that, but I know that slightly the markets might be changing, and once interest rates goes down, prices will start to go up. Once that happen, you would see your gains, right? Investors, stress test your properties, guys. Stress test your property. If you don't know how to do that, book an appointment, book a paid consultation, and I would look into your property for you and see how long exactly can you hold on to some of those properties, and what are you gonna do, right? So stress test your properties. Make sure you analyze properties very well before you go into them, to make sure that you're still in a good position to be able to buy more, or to be able to hold off whatever it is that you want to do, how to scale your portfolio. Okay, so take care. I got through everything. Bye.